We now continue with the next report. The 43rd ASEAN Summit, the second and concluding summit of the Southeast Asian regional grouping under Indonesia's 2023 chairmanship, will be held next week. Problems and challenges abound, but built-in fundamentals of strong sense of mutual trust and shared responsibility will continue to be the norms of the regional association.
Leaders of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, will convene in Jakarta next week for the 43rd ASEAN Summit aimed at streamlining the regional grouping's decision-making process over the coming year. Among the hot issues in the summit agenda is the ongoing negotiation on the Code of Conduct, or COC, in the South China Sea, amid rising tensions between China and the Philippines over the latter's grounded naval vessel on the Second Thomas Shoal. The issue is complicated, with Beijing's revelation on Monday of a new official map, which includes the controversial 9-dash line outlining China's claim to the BCC route that was invalidated in a 2016 International Court ruling. China has overlapping claims in the South China Sea with several ASEAN countries as well as Taiwan, which is seized as a breakaway province. At the previous ministerial level meeting in July, ASEAN and China had agreed on guidelines for accelerating the early conclusion of the COC negotiations as laid out in the ASEAN Foreign Ministers Meeting, or AMM Joint Communique. The summit's agenda also includes a plan to review the implementation of the 5-point consensus, or 5PC, in resolving the Myanmar crisis. ASEAN has been criticized for its slow progress, but the grouping has been committed to retain the 5PC as the guiding principles for addressing the issue. The vision earlier looms in ASEAN's attempt to seek solution for the Myanmar crisis, especially after Thailand Foreign Minister Don Pramudwinai met last month with ousted Myanmar leader Aung San Suu Kyi, a move which has apparently subverted the grouping's Myanmar strategy and Indonesia's leadership. Pramudwinai's meeting with Suu Kyi was the country's second bilateral encounter with the junta government against the wishes of ASEAN. In June, Thai diplomats met with junta representatives. On the other hand, a meeting between Timor-Leste President Jose Ramos Horta and Foreign Minister Zine Mar Aung of the Myanmar Shadow Government, the National Unity Government, in Dili last month had angered the Myanmar military junta. The junta expelled Timor-Leste's charge d'affaires from Yangon on Sunday. The region and be able to compare prices more readily. With ASEAN on track to becoming the fourth largest economy in the world by 2030, it is tempting to think that a single ASEAN currency could become one of the major currencies in the world. While already taking up almost 13.7% of foreign direct investments, a common market could further enhance ASEAN's role as a global player. However, sustaining a common currency at a practical level might be more difficult than adopting it. Under these circumstances, a number of ASEAN countries have been developing a cross-border payment mechanism, which is deemed more applicable than the common currency system. In the latest development, Vietnam's central bank signed an agreement last week to be part of the cross-border payment mechanism system. Vietnam will join Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, the Philippines, and Singapore in working to connect each of their payment systems, including using the QR, or Quick Response Code systems for retail transactions. The prolonged deliberation on the ASEAN Common Currency, the COC negotiations, and the division on the settlement mechanism for the Myanmar crisis are clear examples on the necessity for ASEAN to reform its decision-making process, which is more responsive to current situation in the region and also in the world. However, Such reform should not abandon fundamental values laid down in the 1967 Declaration of ASEAN. The association represents the collective will of the nations of Southeast Asia to bind themselves together in friendship and cooperation, and through joint efforts and sacrifices, secure for their peoples and for posterity the blessings of peace, freedom, and prosperity.